Everybody, good morning, and members, thank you, Dan, for becoming a member. Love it, love it, love it. Eric, Anthony, Helen, Sergio, Donald, Gaten, Wade, Rosalind, Larry, Rob, Stephen, Brian, Rex, Craig, Mark, Gary, Zoob, Robert, Paul, Cece, don't recognize your name, but welcome, and Roland, Goose, Lieutenant Colonel, good to see you, as always. I was joking with you in Discord a minute ago. I don't know if you saw it yet. Nancy, Dawn, Alan, Jan, Doris, Kay, Laura, good to see everybody. Sledge, welcome. Rungamer, get back to work. Just joking. Anyway, Jason, welcome everybody. Dawn, Joseph. I now have channel memberships available if you want to get a behind the scenes look. I've already posted a video and several posts on things I'm doing outside of this right here that I do every day. And if you want to be a chatter on the live stream, that doesn't require being a member, but click the button right over here, be a subscriber on the channel, and you can be a chatter. Member is a paid thing. So you do support me with a nominal fee. And so I'm just introducing that. That's brand new. YouTube asked me to turn that on, and I did. And I had to get permission through the company. I'm not allowed to publish trade alerts through that. So that is a thing. Oh, thank you, Gary. Awesome. Awesome. So I'm not allowed to publish trade alerts through my publisher. It's the way our contract is, I guess. But so behind the scenes stuff, maybe some live streams that might cover market stuff. I mean, it won't be trade alerts, but it'll be more stuff from me, and it won't be stuff that I put right here. I will do live streams for the premium members that are invite only. So anyway, there's two levels. There's like a basic level, and then there's a premium level. So premium level will have live streams, and as soon as I have a couple people in there, which I think I do now, I'll probably start doing a couple extra live streams a week, maybe with market close and extra stuff like that. It does take more effort to do that, so that's why you support me, I support you. It's all a happy family. Anyway, welcome to the stream, everybody, and I guess we should start where we start, right over here. All trading involves a substantial risk of loss. All right, that means you put your money in the market, you might lose it, right? Past performance, not necessarily indicative of future results. That means just because I've got it right in the past, I may never get it right again. That would suck. That's kind of why you're here, right? I tend to get it right more than I get it wrong. This presentation here tended to be informational, educational, fun, entertaining. It's not really a recommendation to be buying or selling any financial instruments. So no stocks, options, bonds, forex, futures, cryptos, treasuries. Don't long them, don't short them, don't trade them, don't buy stuff from me. You can support me as a channel member if you want to, but you don't have to. You don't need to. If you don't trust me, certainly don't do it. And if you desire personal financial advice, hire and consult a financial advisor. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not telling you what buttons to push. Somebody kind of blew up at me in Discord on Friday. I didn't push a button. I didn't tell you what to do. I didn't do a single thing to your account. You made those decisions. Anyway, let's be honest. Like, if you're doing any kind of trade at all, especially options, like if you're an options trade, you better consider, what if this option goes to zero? What is the worst case scenario on these options? Believe me, I have learned that lesson. I've ended up in a $5,000 account. I've ended up short $2 million of Apple stock in a $5,000 account. Back in the early days, this is 15 years ago, when I was first learning options, somebody taught me a very dangerous thing called a back spread. I got caught, couldn't get out, couldn't close it, got stuck, I guess I had to deliver 2 million shares, or $2 million worth of shares of Apple in my little $5,000 account. Talk about a margin call. Talk about freaking you out. I mean, it's kind of like the same scenario that kid, back in COVID, that kid that killed himself with a Robinhood account. The same scenario, but I just bought back the shares. The damage was like $100 when I was all said and done. There's significant risk of loss, though. Like, if I didn't take care of that obligation, that's $2 million I didn't have. So anyway, I digress. This week, interesting week, I guess. Labor Day was yesterday, so market holiday. I did do a crypto special. If you missed that, if you want to see that, it is in the back catalog of YouTube now. And we have these coming out right here. Coming out at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We got a little volatility at 8:30, but there's not really anything that was in here. So I guess the market just feeling a wild hair. We did make a high yesterday on ES. If you didn't know, futures were open, at least for part of the day. And they closed about 1 p.m., then sat there and reopened at 6 p.m. So they've been open since 6 p.m. And we're down like 45 points off the high. So little nastiness in the market. So tomorrow we get JOLTS jobs openings, factory orders, and we get some awards vehicle sales. And then coming up on Thursday, we get the ADP non-farm, we get the unemployment, we get the final services PMI, the ISM services PMI. And then on Friday, we get the jobs report coming in right here. Non-farm jobs. Then we get a Fed member speaking right there. Then we get Fed member Waller speaking. Those guys out in force. I guess they're really trying to stress the narrative that they're going to cut a quarter point. I don't know that that's great for the market. I mean, think about it. Everything's at all-time high prices. The market's at all-time high prices. Rent's at all-time high prices. Food's at all-time high prices. Inflation's kind of still elevated, especially if you use the 1980s method before they changed it in like 1985. We're still running like 8-10%, and they're going to cut rates. Sounds like a winner, right? Sounds like a winner. Now, going through all this, and the thumbnail for today was Algos, and I found Bank of America. Found a projection. It just only goes out 5 days, though. Right here, look at this. 5-day projection, all cases. Bear case, up. Neutral case, up. Bull case, up. Flat position is down here at -1. They were kind of flat here at the end of July. Those CTAs, what caused the big drop of the market? Guess what? CTAs went flat. Now, projected, they haven't even really bought back in. Look how much room we have left on the upside right there. This could, this continues longer than 5 days. Hey, we could have some spicy market action here. There's up to $12 billion of buying set to take place between stock buybacks and CTAs and retirement accounts getting back in the market. You had a lot of money, a lot of retirement money dumping on those last paychecks in August. Nah, it'll flow all to the retirement account managers, BlackRock, Fidelity. You get it, right? VanEck, all those retirement plan 401k managers, and then they'll dump that into their respective places in the market, whether it be index funds or Bitcoin ETFs or whatever it is. So we do have some indications of buying for the next, probably out to the 12th. And funny enough, it just happens to be on this chart. Probably we have enough buying to carry us through the 12th. Then after that, seasonality could kick in. Could see a little seasonality. And I didn't even think about bringing this chart up. So let me pull this up. Pull this over. Drop it on here. Check this one out right here. Oop, wrong chart. I was zooming the wrong one. Let's go back over here and put that back the way it was. There we go. So September, as you can see, we usually start off strong. That's that retirement account money, all that stuff. Like, this is very seasonal right now. Look at that. August, we typically get some volatility. We got some volatility. September, we typically run into it, and then we run into October. So watch out for a pullback in September. This could happen. Seasonality could kick in. This is, everybody's like, well, how much is in this chart? It's 20 years. That's what it says in the fine print there. Time frame is 20-year average right there. 20-year average. All right. Hey, it could not happen. It doesn't have to happen. Just seasonality wise, we typically get a little bit of volatility, a little bit of pullback in September. So watch yourself. Watch yourself. Watch yourself. All right. What was JT talking about here? Check this out right here. We made that high. Right there. Look at that. Monday, September 2nd. You thought the market was closed, right? Right after it reopened. We made this high, set off a bunch of alerts for me, and then look at that. We're down 45 points off that high. What the heck? What the heck? Here's the low from back here last Wednesday. We moved up, we retraced, we moved back up, we retraced, we moved back up, we retraced, we started back up, and we're retracing. It's just a bunch of choppy, volatile. All the lows and highs are overlapping. Not very clear on the direction here. We don't have much economic news as a catalyst this week. So what's the reason? What's the reason we're going to do whatever we do? I don't know. It's kind of funny that way. The charts indicate choppiness, right? This is kind of overlapping. And when we zoom out and look right here, S&P, cash index, we ended on a high note on Friday. We're going to open back down here near the roadmap line on the 5-minute probably. If not, on down a little lower. Let's see. We're running on the futures. 628. And we might end up right down here again. This very kind of choppy. Still, statistics say we're still likely to go push it up. Right up there. Right up there. Now, interestingly, S5TW, check this out. Oh, there's the market open. Check this out. Check this out. 614. Here we go. Getting a bunch of stuff kicking off. Alerts like crazy. Look at this. Maxed out right here. 91. We can't go above 100. That's 100% of the S&P 500 stocks above their 20-day. Right now, we're looking at 91. How many times has this stayed up here for a long time? Not hardly ever. This is indicating we might get a violent pullback. Just be careful. All right. This is an index type of thing. Let's just put this on here really quickly. Horizontal line right here at 91. Check this out. Look how few times we actually poke above that. Going way on back here. We're all the way back to 2011. Just a few times we poke out above this, and it certainly doesn't stay up there very long. Could this be the time we park up here for like 6 months? Maybe. Unlikely, but maybe. Maybe. Just, that's a warning light right there. S5FI, stocks above their 50-day. Look at this. Poking back out. Poking back out. We got up to 91 back here in January, and we didn't go touch the bottom. We could go retest that. Could pop back up there. It's not very likely. Just be careful. All right. These things are all starting to tip their hand. A pullback is getting likely. This rallies on up into the 90s. Warning. And stocks above their 200-day right here. We may actually be pushing this up just a little higher. This was only up into the 80s. Usually we get a nice big spike well into the 90s before we really roll it. Now, it doesn't always happen. Like sometimes we just touch the 80 and then right back down to the bottom, touch the 80, right back down to the bottom. the big tops, come on up into the 90s, and then we flush it down hard. Flush it down hard. Man, right there before COVID, we were right up here. Market was looking overextended, and then flushed down the toilet, right down to the bottom. I'm just, I feel like I would be remiss if I did not caution you against the fact that we can't stay up here for very long. We just can't. It takes too much energy out of the market to stay up at the top on all three of these. And we're just unlikely to stay up here. Yeah, when does the bull market end? When it ends, and then, you know, we won't get the confirmation until we're down like 20%. So be careful out there. We're in the throes of the last few moves here. I do still expect us to go, you know, high probability move is on up to 5,800 on ES. It's up to that 5,750 area on S&P cash. We're still chopping in the area. I'll give you my bias at the end. I do have a bonus trade I brought also. Bonus trade. I know a bunch of you love those. I'll talk about it here toward the end. All right, morning, Jeff. Would Tesla on the hourly meet your pattern? I don't know. Probably not going to look. And NQ. Tuesdays are my request show. And NQ right here. Just hovering right at that 618. Try to break above. Careful. Indicating trouble in Tech Town right here. This is not nearly as bullish as S&P. Even though, yeah, think about how weird this is. So S&P has mostly been driven by a handful of Magnificent Seven stocks. And those are all basically the big drivers in Q, NASDAQ 100. And this is actually just parking right here at the 618. Like, we bounced off the roadmap line, came up to the 618, just parking in the area. Hadn't really broken higher than this high right back here from July. Just sitting there. If we can break higher, hey, good. If we don't, we break down. Certainly if we get below this low, big trouble potential right down here. There's a lot of things jammed up in the markets. The rate cut could be the excuse. Like, so the FOMC meeting coming up. Let's go look at this really quickly. FOMC coming up right down here, like 2 weeks, I think it is. Yeah, right there. So we have the FOMC coming up on the 17th or the 18th right here. What if they only cut a quarter point? That's been baked in the market for like 9 months. Is that going to create disappointment? They didn't cut more? Is that going to be the excuse that the market flushes out? I'm probably going to have some protection trades in place by the time we get here. Might be a good idea. Just saying. Might be a good idea. And those would be good to have out to December at least, maybe January. Have those in place. If the disappointment is that great, we may roll. Also could just be a small correction, and then we pop it to those targets on the upside before we do a bigger roll in October. The next FOMC after that comes up after the election. I think it's right. Is it right here? No, it's the next week, I think. No, it's like the day after, isn't it? Trying to remember. Somewhere right there, I thought. Somewhere right in November. I don't remember. I'll have to go look. I guess I could do it this way. No, thank you. I appreciate that. I want to do a Google search, not a... Thank you. 8. There we go. Google being stupid. So we roll down here and yeah, November 6th, 7th. Wonder why it didn't show up in the calendar. That's weird. I thought it was right there around the October, November. Oh, it's the 6th, 7th. Oh, it doesn't have it on there. Oh, weird. Oh, there it is. There it is, right there. It's on Thursday. I guess because of the election, they don't want to mess with the election. So, right there. Wednesday, Thursday FOMC instead of a Tuesday, Wednesday. That's probably why I missed it. Anyway, right there. So right after the election, same week, get that FOMC. And then 12th, 13th, right before Christmas. So that'd be interesting. Or wait a minute. Wait a minute. I was on the wrong year. 17, 18, right there. Right before Christmas. So we'll see what happens. Could get spicy into the end of the year. So that's cool. And that's cool. All right, back to... I got all sorts of fun stuff up, I guess. All right, moving on. Russell getting whacked a little bit this morning. Stuck at this range. It kind of tipped the odds. We're going to go higher here. I have to say, we look at the Apollo system. It kicked it off right there with a high likelihood. High likelihood we're going higher. Turn off that. See, almost 90% with a 6 profit factor. That's pretty highly likely we're going to make this move up to this 2360 area right up here on Russell. I like to look at statistics and high probability events. Like that's, you know, with only 9 instances though, not really what I would call a statistical population. So be careful looking at it that way. And oil. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Remember what I said? Laura, if you're watching, remember what I said? If we flush oil down here, I bet the incumbent gets reelected. Dun, 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 dun. Promoted in office, but reelected nonetheless. GC. This is interesting too. We're getting a little bit of choppiness right up here at the top. Interesting to me. Choppiness right up here at the top on GC. Can we pop it higher? I don't know. That's, you know, that was a target. We did basically hit the middle of the target. Next target up here. But what happens usually when we get to the target? More often than not, we take a retrace back to the roadmap line, back down here. Wouldn't surprise me one bit. One bit. Wouldn't surprise me to see a bigger, deeper retrace on gold after reaching that extension. So watch out if we get any kind of sustained move. Watch out for that retrace. Now we could just hold, could just come back and retest the breakout. So it could just be like this, bounce off and keep rocking and rolling. Look at that, about the same size. Anyway, that's possible. Bitcoin, I talked about quite a bit yesterday on the futures chart here. Just back to the roadmap line. Holding is positive. Getting back down below is not. Watch out for a push lower. Spot index underneath the roadmap line. Not looking super awesome. Do have support down here at the 618. We get below all that though, we could come right down here, 3840 area, right down here. Be careful. I talked about that quite a bit yesterday. If you want to know the whys and the hows and all that stuff, watch the video from yesterday. And I did a whole crypto special for like an hour. You can even watch it in fast forward because it's all in the history. Ethereum may need a flush lower right there. Certainly looks like it's going to. Just one little spike down. This can clear it all up for crypto. Dollar. Dun, 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 dun. There you are, Laura. And dollar might flush a little lower. Watch for this. Somebody said, there's no way with commodities being strong that the dollar can flush. I just watch out for that. Watch out for that. I don't even think commodities are that strong. In fact, China's population is like starting this exponential decline situation, and actually has negative growth. So China might have a growth problem. You know, I thought it was funny. It's like Elon, love him or hate him, he's been outlining how if we don't keep growing the population, like we're in for trouble. And somebody was like, well, that's just, promoting a Ponzi scheme. And yeah, it's kind of, the whole world is kind of predicated on a Ponzi scheme of growing population. The promises that have been made to the people that are meeting retirement age, and the way we've spent the money that was set aside to take care of those promises, requires that we put more in the bottom. We have to keep growing the population to keep this house of cards going. If the population starts shrinking, the house of cards is coming down, and it's not going to work the same way it's worked basically for the history of humans. We've never really run a society in a declining population situation. So, and that might be a problem that happens. And it could actually be a problem that happens in our lifetimes, or at least some of our lifetimes. NKD, Japanese futures, rejecting the breakout area. So far, we may return back to the roadmap line before we can go higher. Looking like a little bit of a choppy day here so far. Gainers, there were only a few. That is a biotech. Biotech does not commonly follow my patterns. Sometimes does wild hairs. That one is a crazy pop with no real entry there. PRAX. Right there. Just another pharmaceutical biotech. Was popping, now it's dropping. SOC. Another. That looks like it was a SPAC of some sort. Going exponential. Tesla. Salah. Rejecting the breakout so far. Nothing. Nothing to do. Was popping. Now we're almost back to break even. Stuck in between support and resistance. Right there. It's clear as that. Support, resistance. Can you trade in between there? If you can make your money. Be careful. SNY. Settle 5. Getting a pop. Breaking out finally. Not yet. A little bit higher. It's going to take a little bit higher to make all-time highs. Right up around 58.30. 58.30 it looks like. And then the target will be 60 and 62 on the upside. Now decliners, DYN. Oh man, look at that. This is why I warn about when they get played out to the upside. And this is a biotech. Maybe a drug news thing. Unpredictable. VA. Right down there near the numbers. Ooh, baby. Come on down. Come on to Papa. I've been waiting for that to get down there since December. We got really close back here in April. Maybe one more little flush out. We could come all the way down to 145 to bottom this baby out. Been looking for this. This is going to be a 618 retrace, and that's just a little deeper based on the retrace there and the potential for this to come down just a little bit lower. Watching for that to bottom out. Maybe a long-term buyer, because the next move could be pretty epic. Could be looking at something like this up here at 600 on Boeing. Pretty wild. Waiting on this correction to finish up here. Funny enough, it has nothing to do. I drew this arrow before the first door flew off the first airplane, before Boeing had any kind of problems whatsoever. And if you're new here and you weren't here when I called that, Sledge, Goose, several other people could vouch for the fact I had that on there because they've been completely fascinated by this right here. Completely fascinated by this call. And I've traded in between here. I traded long in here, right up to the roadmap line, got out, been waiting. Yeah, sometimes I get lucky on these things, amazingly. Sometimes. I don't know. Better be lucky than good. And FNGU moved up, rejected off the resistance, right back down to support. We break support, watch out for retest of the lows. When we break that, things can get pretty ugly. We go this high, this low, this high. Right now, we're looking at a move like this back down to 93 on FNGU. And a bunch of stuff kicking off today. SMCI. Bunch of alerts. SMCI almost down to the target zone. It was on the droppers list. Now it's on the poppers list. Up 16 after getting a little bit beat down pre-markets. We watch for that final flush. Now we could bottom here. We met the minimum, 421. I have strong feelings that we're going to see it go a little bit deeper. Maybe a lot of it deeper. Maybe all the way back. Maybe we take it all the way back down to the bottom, back down here around 80 to 100. That'd be pretty wild. And they released a Form K1 or whatever it was this morning saying that they have no material new information to present in light of the Hindenburg report that they've been lying about their numbers. We'll see what happens. USD, Ultra Semiconductor. This is Ultra. This is leverage. Be careful on leverage. You didn't know what Ultra meant. If you ever see this in an ETF name, that means leverage. How much leverage? You'll have to go look it up. Usually 2 or 3x. This is right back down to the roadmap line. If we hold it, up. If we fold it, down below. We need to get above this price action right here to go higher. And we do have that gap down, so that creates this extra layer of question mark. Can we get through it? Golly, look at me, alerts are firing off today. Golly. Anyway, question mark right there. Can we get through it? That is the question indeed. And I cannot grab that little guy. There we go. Can we get through? Oh man, how big is that text box? Holy moly. That was a big text box. ACH. I wouldn't call it crashing. All right. But we are pushing out below the watermelon seed squeeze. That's not a crash. If we were down below the low here, down in the 60s, that would be a crash. All right. We've made much bigger moves than a couple bucks. $2 move, nothing. $15 move, that's probably more in line with crashing. Crude is down. That would be the more accurate way to say that. Not really, zoom out a little bit. It's not really gone anywhere. Crashing is like a gap down and keeps running. 15, 20 bucks a barrel. That's crashing. Just zoom your chart out if you feel like it's crashing. I mean, crashing on the 1 minute, it's like, oh my gosh, that's horrible. But then right there, $2 is a pretty normal day. I mean, 3%. We're not even lower than we've been in the last 6 months. So, anyway. Moving on. Let's see. CHC. Acadia Healthcare. Rejected off the 618 line there, but it's probably not even the right 618 line since this is all sloppy. Move it up to that high. Move it down to this low. Ugh, what a nasty chart. I would not even touch that for now. There's nothing clear here for me. Got a major resistance coming up right here. It'd be hard to break through. NVIDIA, ultra leveraged, or leveraged, 2x leverage. NVIDIA, coming back down to the roadmap line. We rejected that area. TSM, Taiwan Semi. Anybody see the reports of the State Department talking to China and the general from China saying that they were going to take over Taiwan? Told him to stay out of it. That didn't make mainstream media news that I saw. He was very awkward in the video too. After General told him that, and then he went to meet whatever. So watch out for Taiwan. This could put a hurting on us right here. China decides to take over Taiwan. This may be coming back down. SMH coming back down. All these semiconductor ETFs, I warned, we may reject at that 618 level. And that's exactly what we did all across the board. This one even. That one didn't even, Applied Materials didn't even get up there. If we go lower after this, let's move down, let's move up, let's move down. Could put us down at 130 on that one. I'll just go back through a couple of these. This move down, this move up, this move down. Could put it at 164. SMH. This move down, this move up, this move down. Could put us at 171. TSM. This move down, this move up, this move down. Could put us at 115. And NVIDIA, right, right there. This move down, this move up. Oh, could go even lower, down to 19. Be careful out there. NVDL, another one. Same pattern. That move down, this move up. Watch for 15. NVDA, still the same situation. Nothing really changed here. Yeah, it's all lined up. Could see a flush down to this level. Even though we kicked off the potential to go higher, we met resistance right at that gap. Couldn't push higher. Now rejecting. Watch out for the flush. Get below the roadmap line. Coming, more than likely, we're coming down here to 70. And if we get below that 70 area, could turn a lot worse, down to 40. Why? Check it out. Look at the exponential here. Exponential. And right back down to test the prior high. Maybe like, that's not possible. Okay. We'll see. Lots of people said that on Boeing when I drew the big arrow. We'll see. Time will tell. Lots of people thought I was crazy when I drew it on SMCI. That bubble's been there. I mean, how long? When did I draw that? I drew it before we made the high. I drew that bubble down here before we even got to 1200. I think we were at 900 when I drew this bubble right here. We're almost there. I said, if we make it to 1200, buying puts as far out as you possibly can, maybe in the $800 range, it's going to make big money when we come back to the bottom. This is a simple pattern that repeats in the market. It's right here. All right. We see people with optimism. Then we see people with belief. Then we see people with thrill. They start telling everybody. People that don't normally trade start talking about it. Saw a lot of that with SMCI and NVIDIA. Then we see people talking about how they're a genius. We're all going to be rich. Just need to buy more NVIDIA. AI trade's never going to break. Then we start down. Then we get this consolidation. We touch that 618. Start rolling down. Break the low. It's the same pattern I look for every day in the market right here. Get some, just need to cool off for the next rally. Then, oh my gosh, it's taking a little longer than I thought. Oh my gosh. Just need a little more time. Uh-oh. I gotta get out before I'm broke. I can't afford to lose more. Why'd the government let me lose so much money? Be careful. This is a real, we see this occur over and over and over in the market. And this was, I was beating the drum. This was exactly what we had on SMCI. You see the move up, see that consolidation, breaking down below it, coming on down, and it can come all the way back down. NVIDIA has the same freaking pattern, just running a little slower. LABU, this thing just chopping. Very strong resistance going higher right here. Seems to be very strong resistance. If we can get through that, target's right up here, right around 190. ARM. Watch for this one to come back down also. Looks a lot like the bubble pattern. That was a 3-wave up. Doing the cool off, and we may flush it right back down to the bottom. Elf Beauty. Watch out for the bigger, deeper retrace. Lower highs. It retested the roadmap front line from the bottom. Next stop down here around 100. Elf Beauty. And we may get an intermediate support around the 130s area. May do a little bounce before we flush it on down. Probably coming down here. Probably BHP. That's probably the wrong BHP because it has a thing on it. A little D for delay. And I wouldn't touch that. Rio. Pushing lower. Rio Tinto. That looks like we're going on a bigger correction. And that's a choppy hot mess. And that was the wrong Rio chart. Let's look at the New York Stock Exchange one. Still a choppy hot mess. And watermelon seed squeeze on top of that. QCOM. Potential to have done a measured bounce, but also look at that. Look at that roadmap line. Hold. If we don't get through that, lower low, maybe down as low as 130. MVS right now. Right now that was low as 130 on QCOM. MVS, Novartis, pharmaceutical, caution. This is on a rip. Next fib line up, 130. It's just climbing the fib ladder. 130, 136, 152, 163, possibly 200. It just keeps climbing. It becomes lower and lower probability that we're going to keep climbing, and a big pullback becomes higher and higher likelihood. TECL. Rejected. That's technology, 3X bulls. Seeing rotation out of big tech. Watch out for the flush down to 20. Salmon Property Group. That could break out. Let's see. Let's remove the drawings. I haven't looked at this since back here in 2021. Broke above the 618. Little trouble getting out of here. We're set for like 182, 192, possibly. Pretty good for malls, I guess. Malls must not be the horrible place. They must be figuring out some way to monetize them. I know the one Simon Mall near me, they've been it seems like a carnival's in the parking lot every freaking day, every week. Maybe take a week off and then there's another one right back in the parking lot. Just anything to get people at the mall. And SPXL, just hovering. This is set to go to 168. Maybe like, how do you know? Here's the statistics. 19 trades in the history. That's 2/3 of the way to a statistical population. 73% of the time we go higher. 1.95 profit factor. Usually takes about 39 days. We are 11 days into that 39-day average. Average is just an average. Could take longer. So right out, that would be, the average would be right out here. And everybody says Y is 39 bars, not 39 calendar days. And it's weekends and holidays, like we had a 3-day weekend. That took 3 days out of this. So right over there, roughly mid-October. We could rally up, we could come down, and we could rally up. Remember, I was saying something about October, maybe a top. Could get the top right up there. Now, this can happen faster or it can happen slower than the average. This could take longer than the average. Just be careful. Be careful. All right. Now that Labor Day driving is done, they can break down the price of gas again. Maybe. Now, 30 minutes of awesome coming up at 5 p.m. Just a reminder, if you're still here, still hanging out, 5 p.m., I take requests for at least 30 minutes, 5 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays. And come hang out. If you don't come hang out, I won't have anybody to make requests. So put it in your phone, reminder. It is Tuesday already. It's the first day of the week. It's like a Tuesday on a Monday, Monday on a Tuesday. And ALB may push even lower. Nothing looking like a bottom yet on ALB. It's just a nasty chart, man. Whew. That's a wicked chart. We did that head to shoulders, plummeted right down to the target. Next target down there. And my bonus trade for today. Dun, 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 dun. AIG. You remember when AIG was going to blow out the world with the insurance? It's like the GFC problems all blamed on AIG, whatever. Let's fix this right here, this high, this low. Closing above the 618 right there. Sets this up to go higher. 82.50, possibly 84. And dun, 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 dun. Well, cool, Logan. Glad you could make it today. Now, if you want to know these are not Apollo trades. They're not triple threat trades. They have a similar kind of pattern to them. These are not those. These are something different. Different tool to even find them. So here you go. Here's the target, 82.54. Stop below 68. And historic win rate, 73% with a profit factor of 1.228. That means 22.8% gain. Winners and losers combined on 49 trades. Statistic population since 1972. This has been rocking and rolling for quite a while. With basically, this is the 50th trade in the history. 73% win rates. That's pretty good. Targeting a $5.50 move to the upside, basically. That could be a pretty good one. Pretty good one right there. Typically takes 33 trading days on average. Could be longer, could be shorter, could go faster. Be careful on these. It could take twice as long. It could take 66 days. Could take 3 times as long. So 33 bars right there. Roughly October 21st. You can see it's a buy right there. Got the algorithm kicking off the buy right there. There you go. 82.50 target up there. 82.54 is the official target. All right. Let me know if you like the bonus trades. Now, my bias for the day. Bias for the day. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. Cautiously bullish. Cautiously bullish. If we get below these lows, what we've made the last couple weeks, we could flush right back down here on the gap fill. Cautiously bullish. I think we're set for a breakout. And that breakout's limited to 57.50 at this point. We're in for some chop, though. It's down 66 points. We're seeing some 100-point swing days. This is not normal to see these big days up and down in here. Now, this could recover very quickly by the close, so be freaking careful. That's the big key here. And look at these. The ATR is going crazy on the S&P 500. And let's see. Put that shorter. Where did that go? Oh, duh, it's down here. Let's do a 7-day RMA. Let's do SMA. Yeah, see, look at the range we had back here in August. We were 150-point ATR. Now we're at a 60-point ATR, so we're moving 60 points a day on average. I mean, take a look at this. history of this ATR. We were in a depressed area where we've only moving 20, 30 points a day. So a normal day on the S&P is roughly 20, 30 points. And oops, didn't mean to edit the code. I meant to click the settings button. Put it back to 14 is typically the normal, which doesn't even make sense because 15 would be 3 trading weeks right there. I don't know what everybody's thought process is there on 14, but there you go. Look at the history of this thing. Normal day, like, you know, back here, way back, 14 points used to be a big day. Then lately, 60 points is it's a pretty standard day. I mean, for the last several years, when you look at this right here, draw kind of an average right there where you're like half and half. Isn't that wild? Put it right through as much as you can, like 50 points a day. When we're on the upside, that's bigger days. When we're on the downside, that's smaller days. So 50, 60 points a day. Pretty average true range on the S&P right now. Just absolute craziness. Be careful out there. We can recover this very quickly. We're right back down at the lows. Flip it right around. Look at the futures. This could just be another choppy retrace before we rip it back out of here. Be careful, everybody. And that's, I have to say, permacautious. That would be what I would consider myself, permacautious. This could break down and head south. So, yeah, thank you, Charlie. Thank you so much. Everybody, hit that thumbs up. Make sure you give me a like. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the alert. Get your notification when I go live today at 5 p.m. I'll see you later. I'll be in Discord, hanging out, and doing some trades. So I'll see you later. Thanks for coming.